Hello Internet Void, I'm Trin and welcome back to my channel. So last week I talked about 5 things I learned about makeup, and this week I want to talk about my weight loss journey and how I'm considering it over. I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a physical therapist, I'm not a fitness instructor, any of those things. I'm just some person that lost a lot of weight pretty freaking quickly, and why I know for sure you shouldn't follow my diet advice, but I just want to share my story with it. So if you're curious, if you want to see Moose stretching out on me, his claws are sharp, then give this video a like, dislike, let's go, or subscribe. Let's go ahead and get rolling. Backtracking, November I started a new medication, and like mental illness medication, and with that a lot of mental health illness problems, or a lot of side effects come with mental health medications, but this one allowed me to start recognizing that I'm full. Like I just stopped eating basically, or I listened to my body and realized that it was full. I have my notes up on my phone so I keep consistent right now. So at my doctor's office in December, I clocked in at 185 pounds, and to say that I was infuriated, I was angry, I was like, there's no way this could be happening. It's probably not the heaviest I've ever been, but it's definitely pretty close, and that just made me snap. I snapped. But instead of having a snap of, oh, I'm gonna start working out and eating healthy and everything, it was like, oh, this medication makes me feel full finally, so I'm just gonna not eat. That's what I'm going to do, and that's what ended up happening. So let me be abundantly clear, I did not do this with Ozempic. I did not do it with Wegovy or any other drug in that class. I just got a weird side effect from this new mental illness medication, and it just allowed me to basically starve myself. So in the first majority of this year, I had been losing weight via a calorie deficit. During the work week, if you all don't know, I work for a mental health care facility, and I work 12-hour shifts 3 days a week. And when I work those 12-hour shifts, I can really only eat twice a day. I can eat breakfast, and I have a 30-minute lunch break where I can stuff myself with food. And so my typical diet for the good part of this year was a Jimmy Dean's breakfast sandwich and glorified ramen noodles, or something very unhealthy for you, super ultra processed. I would snack during the day occasionally. I do mostly front desk, so I'm in front of clients every single day, and so I don't like, if I'm gonna snack at work, it has to be very quick, it has to be very quiet, like, or just hope that there's nobody in the room so I can eat. But generally I can only have 2 solid meals, and if I was only eating breakfast and on my lunch break, I was averaging under 1,000 calories a day. Now definitely I would eat more on the weekends, but for at least 3 days a week, I was in a severe calorie deficit. And I don't care who you are or your weight loss goals, any adult eating less than 1,000 calories a day is very incredibly dangerous. Like, do not do that. If I have learned anything in the past 8 or 9 months at this point, don't go under 1,000 calories a day, especially for months and months. That is so incredibly dangerous. There's a lot of health problems with that. Cats are being distracting. So a big issue that I've learned quickly with losing weight very quickly with under 1,000 calorie eating less than 1,000 calories a day is just the health problems that go with it. When you're eating that little, your body isn't going for fat, for energy, it's going for your muscles. So I lost a lot of weight, yeah, but it was a lot from my muscles. Like, my fat on my body didn't shrink, it was attacking my muscles. I was getting really intense hair loss, and those were really the 2 big things, was the knowing that my body was losing muscle, and the hair loss, because I like to think I have long hair, and yeah, losing a lot of it really sucks. I just said my days off were pretty hit and miss on how much I would eat, but I was still eating like Jimmy Dean breakfast sandwiches even on my days off. I'd probably have like maybe a lunch, a more higher calorie dinner, but it was still a bunch of ultra processed food. the end of the day, that's what I was eating. I was not eating healthy. I was not working out. And so with that, losing all this weight, seeing the numbers on the scale go down, eating behaviors that I've had in my past slowly started creeping up. Now, I could just be in denial, but I don't think I have an ED. I think I just have a very negative body image issues portrayed by the media, and honestly, Google Photos. I don't know about y'all, but like Google Photos gives me notifications like once a day, like remember this day X amount of years ago, and I look back to the photos that I have of me that before I was on mental illness medications, and I looked at those photos and I was like, hey, remember when you were happy? Like, for some reason, pre-mental illness, I was super incredibly, or not pre-mental illness, pre-medications, I was super incredibly happy because I was skinny. Like, that's been my thought process, like, over years. It's like, yeah, you were happy back then because you were thin, and not because your mental illness was a dumpster fire, not because you were having psychotic symptoms all the day, and you were manic, or you were depressed. It was just this, like, a never-ending cycle of depression and mania and, like, psychotic symptoms. It had nothing to do with that. It was just the fact that you're skinny. That's why you're happy. I mean, maybe a little bit, but for the most part, I was still miserable besides the way my body looked. Month I snapped. And my doctor confirmed that I was in a hypomanic state, which for me is abnormal because I usually go on the depressed route, not on the manic route. But I went manic, and if you know anything about mania, common symptoms are very dangerous behaviors. You are not getting any sleep, you're making risky financial decisions, you're having promiscuous sex, you're doing not good things for your body. When I was manic, I decided to finally act on seeing a nutritionist and to start working out. That was my mania, is to start taking better care of my body. So I did start seeing a nutritionist through the Nourish app. Like I said last week, I did stop that. Mostly because, not that I thought that, like, oh, I have all the answers in how I need now, or what I need now. It was just kind of like, I think I'm at a good point right now to where I don't need to see a dietitian. I'm kind of feeling like I might want to go back to the app, maybe find a different dietitian, just because the one I was working with, we weren't really vibing, just a little weird for some reason. But so I started seeing them for a little bit, and I also started using ChatGPT, which is really weird to say that, oh, I was starting, and I've still lost weight with my dietitian or nutritionist. I was still losing weight even though I was eating more. I started eating a lot more since seeing the dietitian. And ChatGPT, for me, has really just been a weight loss calculator. It has been, like, most of my recipes that I've been trying to make, I find through Pinterest, and some of those recipes on those blogs have, like, the nutrition facts on towards the end after the recipe. Some of them don't. So what I end up doing sometimes is plugging all of the nutrition or all of the recipe ingredients into ChatGPT, and I'm like, tell me the nutrition facts for this recipe. Or I've also used it, I used it to get a recipe for homemade breakfast burritos because I saw one on Pinterest that I wasn't really liking, and I kept finding things on Pinterest. I'm like, I don't really like any of these recipes. So I went to ChatGPT and they made me a breakfast burrito recipe, and it's been great. It's a really good recipe. And a fun thing using ChatGPT in this way is that it's, oh, I don't want it to have this. What if I include this instead? Or instead of recipes, something saying like using dairy milk for a recipe. My husband and I drink almond milk now, which I hate to say. He has maybe I think my husband at least thinks he has like at least a mild lactose intolerance or whatever. He has some sort of sensitivity to lactose, so we switched to almond milk, and that has been really good. So I see recipes that say dairy milk, and I'll plug in the ChatGPT, and I'm like, can you replace this with almond milk? And I started also cutting out added sugar in products, and weird, just I like in this attempt to start in this mania and attempt to like start eating healthy and working out, I did start with just doing yoga all the time. And then I was like, you know what if you dig out those kettlebells that you've had for years and years and years, that have literally been sitting in your garage for 4.5 years, probably sitting even longer, because I know I didn't use them when I first moved to Colorado, so they've been untouched for years. Why don't you dig them out and start using them? And at first I was just kind of going on the flow of like waking up every morning and kind of listening to my body, and that's kind of what I've been doing a lot lately, is listening to my body. If I wake up and I'm just like, you know what, I just want some like casual stretching, some meditation, and there's some more like intense yoga you can do, but if I just wanted something really grounding to set myself up today, I do yoga. Through ChatGPT, I learned that in order to start maybe building, I need to build muscle to get rid of like some fat on my body, but big way to do that is, yeah, diet, but also yes, diet, like when it comes to like weight loss, I've realized, and everything, is diet is more important than exercise. Exercise is still very important, but diet is a lot more important. So it's like, okay, I want to start doing kettlebells or heavy exercise, or like more exercise than just yoga. I should do it 2 to 3 times a week for X amount of time. I should consume way more protein, which is now is my next deal. Is I'm off the rails on this, but just using the Nourish app, dietitian, and ChatGPT to figure out, okay, I can plug in like exact numbers of like my weight, my activity levels, and there's calculators online for this. I'm just using ChatGPT because I'm lazy, and to figure out just sort of like nutritional facts and things like that. So I veered away a little bit from ChatGPT, even though I still find it as a good resource in the sense of just using it for calculators. Just because I can tell ChatGPT, this is exactly what I do every day, this is exactly like nutrition facts, or here's a recipe, tell me the nutrition of what it is. And I've actually found something better than ChatGPT for that. So so yeah, while you can essentially, like I have, lose over 60 pounds by having a strong calorie deficit, it's still not the best way to do it. Like, it's still not. I mean, that technically is all you need, is a calorie deficit. But in terms of weight maintenance and building muscle and being healthy, it is so much more than that. And that's what I've really learned in the past 2 months is my brain is like, you still have 5 more pounds to go. My brain keeps telling myself, just 5 more pounds, just 5 more pounds. And I'm like, you know what? My goal in my brain has always been 120 pounds for me to be at, and that is considered a healthy weight for my height. I am 5'1", very short. 185 pounds does not look cute on me at all. And so it's pretty much what I've been doing, and now I've been doing it healthier, not only through using a nutritionist and ChatGPT, but also I've been, reading books. I read a book last month, I think it was called A Year Without Sugar, where a family, for the most part, cut out sugar in general, and I'm not doing that. No, I'm not cutting out sugar. I am, though, trying to limit added sugar as much as I possibly can. And so I'm okay with sugar, like in honey and in fruits. Really weird thing that has happened is that my new like sweet treat is whole grain toast, almond butter, and honey. That's my new sweet treat. Is if I'm having a sweet craving, my brain is like, yeah, just have some toast with honey on it, that's all you need. I'm like, I was not this person 2 months ago. This wanting a sweet treat person 2 months ago was like 2 Snicker bars, not some honey. Honey for me for years was not sweet enough. Now apparently it is. And I think I have a few more notes. I do want to, okay, we'll do this. So circling back to makeup, as funny as it is, because I did usage tracking of all of my makeup last year, it has kind of got me, dare I say, obsessed with numbers, because I liked seeing the numbers at the end of the year of all the makeup products I use. And yeah, it left me infuriated at the end of the year. I really liked the numbers though. And it started with like doing project pans and like counting uses and taking pictures on all that. It started with that, but it really kickstarted with literally every day sitting at my computer tracking all the uses of my products. So this year, I've kind of just shifted that into weight and nutrition facts and how many calories I need a day, how many calories I need to burn, and like all this stuff. And so it's funny for that. And I have an app. I was doing like all this convoluted stuff to keep track of everything in the past 2 months. I had like a Google Keeps note on my phone. I had like 2 Excel spreadsheets. It was like, and then I was using a Nourish app to track meals and kind of notes on that. And I found a free app with no ads that does all of that for me, except like log my emotions behind the food. But I think now you can use the Nourish app without seeing a dietitian. You just won't have like the conversation. You just won't be able to have a conversation with a registered dietitian to kind of brainstorm calories and everything, but you can use it as like food tracker. But that's all it really is. So this app that I'm using now is called, it's like Nutrionix. Yeah, Nutrionix. Like Nutrition 9 maybe? Nutrionix. So at least it's available on like the Google Play Store. I don't know about Apple, but literally all it is it tracks your food intake and it calculates the nutrition facts. You can add water, you can add exercise to it. I don't know, I haven't done yoga since using the app, so I don't really know how that would work. And yoga is so different in terms of exercise and like what you can do. There's so many more different things, so I don't know how yoga tracking would work, but I can at least track the kettlebell approximate calories burned during that. But I'm also like, I don't know, because ChatGPT will tell me I've burned a lot more calories than like what the app says. So I don't know how accurate the calorie burning is on that. I've only calculated it for my kettlebell workouts. But yeah, I can plug in foods. I did it last night where you can literally scan a barcode on a food product and it will tell you exactly the nutrition contents in it for you. Whereas before, when I was using my Excel spreadsheet, I was spending a bunch of time at my computer looking everything up and plugging it into my spreadsheet. It's just like, it was maddening. So now I can do everything in this one app and it's free. Let me scream that it is free. It is completely free. It does not have ads. And something else that I'm going to really appreciate also soon is that when you go out to eat, I don't know how many, it doesn't have like every single restaurant in America, obviously, but it has a lot of them. So my husband and I were talking about going out to Red Robin this weekend. We ended up not doing that because it's like seemed really overpriced for what it was. But before we even like solidified on like going or not going, still kind of thinking we might. So I pulled up on my nutrition app and looked at Red Robin and just typed in burgers, and I was just like looking at everything. I was like, dang, this is absurd. Just like being appalled by everything. So that's what I've been doing. That's how I lost all this weight. I am calling my weight loss journey over. It's over. And I'm starting a new journey, which is keeping the weight off and becoming healthy. This is my health journey now. It's with Ozempic and seeing everything online, all the side effects and stuff. I was a hypocrite because I was saying that Ozempic is evil while I was basically doing the same thing with the mental illness medication. So that February Ozempic video, yeah, I was a big hypocrite during that. And I knew that as I was filming it. I was just really afraid to admit it. So if you're wanting to lose weight, and I know a lot of people don't do it the way I did by eating less than 1,000 calories a day. Yeah, I lost 60 pounds in a year, or less than a year. That's really not something I want to brag about because I did it so unsafely, but in the past 2 months I have been doing it safely and I have still been losing weight. I've still been losing weight. I'm still making progress, and guess what? Here's the real secret. I'm eating carbs. I know. I'm eating carbs. I'm eating a lot of carbs. And you know what? It's fine. It's fine because I'm most of my carbs a lot throughout the day. Like a big chunk of my carbs is oatmeal. I do overnight oats for breakfast almost like every day. Or like my carbs come from like whole grain toast or like fruit or banana. So it's like, yeah, I'm eating carbs and it's okay. So if I can still lose weight by just eating carbs, then yeah, you can lose weight too by also eating carbs. It's okay, but it's the right ones. That's what I've been really learning, is that it's all about the right foods and everything. And like I said, I'm not a nutritionist or a dietitian. I'm just sharing what I've learned, my journey. I am incredibly happy that I have lost all this weight, but I'm more happier because now I'm seeing the future and the long term and how my goals have shifted to just losing weight to radically changing my life for the long term. And that is with having a healthier diet and exercising every day, even though I should probably take a break. One day off is not going to kill me. One day off will not kill me. Actually, my body did force me to take a day off like 2 weeks ago. Literally, my body literally shut down for like 24 hours and I was like, you are resting right now. So besides that, I want to thank you all so much for watching today's video. If you're on a weight loss journey, I'd love to hear from you. If you want to get healthy, chat GPT and get a nutritionist, I guess. I guess that's what you should do. I don't know. I'm not a dietitian. But thank you, as always. Have joy and bye.